So you have your Ushanka on, you got your shotgun all set up, you have your scav vest that you better have gotten from Jaeger before the barter. You better not have bought this thing from the flea market. I will end you. And you think, you know what? I'm ready to go out and do setup. Well, you're wrong. Because today I'm going to be showing you some of the major things that you need to know before you start this task. And I just want you to get this feeling that I got. Whoa! That's how I got my setup kill. The final kill right there, baby. Did you see that snipe? Get out of here, dude. Woo! The MP153 is my go-to shotgun here. The first thing I always do is we make it so the ammo capacity is a lot more than just 4, right? So you want to pick somewhere between 6 is the lowest I would go, but I'd go 7 or 8. You know, it just makes it so if you miss a couple of shots, or you need to put a couple more into someone, or you're dealing with 2 people, it's not too much of a problem. The next thing we're going to do is put on this top rail. And again, it's up to you. The ammo I use, you could technically use a longer range scope, I guess. But my biggest one has just been the Cobra EKP. Put on this little mount to get that extra ergonomics going, but nothing fancy. Just I think it's cheap and it's good. The next thing we definitely have to put on is the Sprut, just so we can put on some sort of tactile device. If you want to put on the, I don't know, a laser only or the Laze tack here, I like the X400. That's what I always went with, but you can put on whatever you want. Just put on something with a flashlight. Just try to blind those people close range, right? And then the last thing I always put on is this. I put on the cylinder, and then I usually put on this sound suppressor because it was cheaper than the claw, right? So I'd always put on the sound suppressor so the shotgun was silenced, but now the suppressor used to be a lot cheaper than the claw, but the claw, look at this, hold on, let me show you the stats. So this is with the sound suppressor on it, right? And then we put on the claw, it even gives us even better stats. And I know that shotgun's a shotgun, but this claw used to be like 60,000 before, you know, everyone started unlocking it. So now that it's 21,000, I would highly recommend you go loud and proud with this gun. And one of the major reasons is this. Hold on, let me switch cams here. One of the major reasons that I would say go loud and proud, especially with the claw, the sound suppressor is about 26,000 to 31,000, and the claw is roughly 21 to sometimes 26 on the flea market. But the suppressor will always get taken when you die. Okay, whenever someone sees a suppressor on a gun, they'll take the suppressor and maybe leave the gun. With the claw, they don't take it. They'll just throw the whole gun out, maybe take your X400, but always be ensuring everything you're using for this task, because 90% of the time you're getting it back. So let's go back to that build quickly. So I would highly recommend the claw that I have on here, only because A, the stats are way better, but B, it's because you'll always get it back in insurance. Now there's a debate going on what's the best ammunition type for doing this task. I'm of the camp that 50 BMG slug is amazing. It does 197 damage. The pen value is 26. And because it's a slug, you can kind of not snipe with it, but you can snipe with it, right? The shot at the beginning that you saw was me shooting from pretty far away, and I killed a guy. And if we were using what other people like, which is the Piranha, which is still a great slug, I probably wouldn't have gotten that kill, right? So it has 10 pellets at 25 damage apiece. So as long as you connect one shot, it's doing 250 damage. The pen value is 24, but the major difference between these two is, I would say, the range you're fighting. So of course, everyone is going to be rushing dorms like that. I'll tell you that in a second. My strategy, of course, is rushing dorms, but I felt like unless I was in dorms, Piranha really wasn't much of a help, where I felt like the 50 BMG, even if I wasn't in dorms and I was still trying to find people, I could shoot from afar, still get a kill, or at least do some damage and reposition. So it's really up to your game style, how you want to play this task. I like having different options than just going to dorms, and if it's dead, I can't really do much. But again, choose what you want. But for me, I'm going to be picking 50 BMG every time. I like the versatility. That's just me. Now, going in with a game plan before you even spawn in is really important, so let's just take a look at the customs map here. The basic strategy is get to dorms at ASAP. Just get the closest spawn and rush dorms. And not only because you're going to be able to fight close quarters, you have a shotgun, so hopefully you have the advantage, but the other thing is you're going to want to make a bunch of money if no one's there. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the next section about the keys. But if you do spawn on the east side of the map, I'm sorry to say, I just call it a mulligan. Because it's a lot of long range fights and you're gonna get to dorms super late and there's probably already people camped up, I just try to get through this, go through to the backside of dorms. I just try to pass through it. I don't even bother with it. I go to the hillside gas station, try to see if anyone's around there, and then I go into the custom side where there is the garage and, you know, sunshine building, all that kind of stuff, and I try to fight there. The reason I like the east side of the map so much, or should I say, sorry, the west side of the map so much, is because it also has a lot of buildings. So again, with the shotgun, the close quarter combat, it's better for you. So if you do spawn anywhere on the east side of the map, you could take your time. Instead of rushing for dorms and being late, you could just try to go to things like the garage, the sunshine building, and just try to listen for people. And that's where the 50 BMG comes into play a little more, right? It is close quarters, I would say, in this area, but it's not super close quarters sometimes, so that 50 BMG is going to help you. Now, one of the biggest things I can tell you is if you do make it to dorms quickly, this task does really promote ratting or you know, camping. There's a pillar on the 3rd floor that you can kind of hide behind, and if anyone's rushing up the stairs, you can just kind of, you know, lean left and hit them and they won't really see you behind that pillar. So this is like my favorite area. And if they come up to the 3rd floor and just rush up there to hit the marked room or something, you're prepared. You're right there waiting for them. I know it's greasy, but again, this task is the worst and it just promotes camping. I never get upset when I die to someone in a bush on customs, or should I say not too much, because it's just the way it goes. This task is the worst. This is how you do it. So because you're going to be rushing dorms a lot and you're going to be playing the waiting game, or someone might not show up, the must-have keys for 2-story are dorm room 105, you got dorm room 114, and you also have dorm room 110. The keys for 3-story that you must have are dorm room 214 and dorm room 204. And the reason for this is because these are all keys to get you into rooms that have safes. So even if you rush dorms and it's a quiet raid, you can hit 5 safes and make money while doing this task. I made a lot of money doing this early because not as many people were rushing dorms, and if no one was there, hey, at least I got some money in my docs case. I got out with a couple of things, and I would just reset spaghetti. When people talk about how bad Tarkov tasks are, setup is definitely up there for top 10 worst tasks, because you're using a gun you don't want to use, you're using equipment you wouldn't usually use. It's just miserable. So if I were you guys, the last piece of advice that I'd give you is get 4 kits together for this. Go in, ensure everything. Once you're done, you're done. Like once those kits are gone, move on to another task, do something else, and then the day after, once you get those kits back, then try it again. If you try to brute force this and you're not successful, you're just not gonna have fun and you're gonna be miserable. So don't do that to yourself. If I were you, just wait, do like four runs of this a day. If you're successful, awesome. If not, move on to something else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you got a little bit of information from it. And if you enjoyed the video, hey, subscribe to the channel. It's free for you guys. It means the world to me. I do stream 4 days a week on twitch.tv/Geekseh. That's where I did this whole thing. And you saw me become miserable for a while, but we eventually did get it done. So thank you guys so much. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later.